The role of Sabbath in functional ontology. In the ancient Near East, the idea of rest was not merely about the cessation of labor, but was intrinsically tied to the notion of stability and order within a cosmic framework. This understanding of rest as a state where everything functions as it should, rather than simply the absence of work, is crucial for interpreting the Genesis creation account. Through the lens of a functional ontology, the seventh day is the culmination of creation. In the creation narrative, each day involves God bringing order out of chaos by assigning functions and roles to various elements of the cosmos. Take, for instance, light and darkness, which are separated and given their functions. The waters are gathered, dry land appears, and vegetation is given the role of producing life. The sun, the moon, and the stars are assigned to govern time, while living creatures are given their respective domains in the air, sea, and land. The creation narrative is a series of divine acts that bring about a fully functioning cosmos, where every element has a role and purpose within God's grand design. The seventh day, however, is distinct from the other 6 days in that God does not create or assign a new function to any part of the cosmos. Instead, God rests and the day is sanctified, as seen in Genesis 2, verses 2 through 3. This rest is not about recuperation from labor, but about the completion and establishment of order. In the A&E context, rest is the result of stability, where a king can rest on his throne because his kingdom is in order. In Genesis, God's rest on the seventh day signifies that the cosmos has reached its intended state of functionality. Everything is now operating according to the roles and purposes God has assigned. This is the moment where God's rule is fully established and his creation is declared very good, because it is now perfectly functioning as it was designed to. The institution of the Sabbath is a declaration that the world is no longer in a state of tohu wabohu, or formless and void, but is now a cosmos, a well-ordered functional system under divine sovereignty. The Sabbath, therefore, is the divine seal in creation, marking it as complete, not in a material sense, but in its functional integrity. This understanding aligns with the A&E conceptions of temples, where rest is a state achieved when the gods have established their cosmic reign. In many A&E myths, the temple is the place where the gods rest after subduing chaos and creating order. Similarly, the cosmos in Genesis can be seen as God's temple, and his rest on the seventh day signifies that he has taken up residence in his creation, which is now functioning as it should. The Sabbath is also a theological statement about God's relationship with creation. In many A&E myths, the gods create humanity to relieve themselves of labor, essentially to do the work they no longer want to do. In contrast, the God of Genesis does not rest because he is weary, nor does he create humanity to take over his work. Instead, his rest signifies satisfaction in a creation that functions according to his purposes. Humanity's role is not to perform labor on behalf of God, but to participate in the ongoing order and functionality that God has established, while they relate to him in a loving, covenantal relationship. The significance of the Sabbath extends beyond creation. It becomes foundational for understanding Israel's covenant. In Exodus 20, 8 through 11, the command to observe the Sabbath is directly linked to the creation narrative, where the Israelites are called to rest on the seventh day because God rested on the seventh day. Here, Sabbath observance is not just a matter of ritual, but a weekly reminder of the created order the functional cosmos established by God, and humanity's role within that order. It serves as a sign of the covenant, where Israel's rest on the Sabbath reflects their trust in the order God has created and their participation in the divine rhythm of work and rest. The theological implications of this are profound. The Sabbath teaches that human beings are not the ultimate source of order or sustenance in the world. God is. By resting, Israel acknowledges that God is the one who sustains the cosmos, and that their work, while important, is ultimately a participation in God's greater work. This understanding ties the concept of functional ontology directly to the lived experience of the Israelites, while reinforcing that their existence is rooted in divine purpose and order.